I think Orlando is a pretty good city to go to grad school in. There's enough fun stuff to have fun, but it's not going to overwhelm you. I think that everyone that comes to FIEA is very passionate about what they want to do, and it's refreshing to be in an atmosphere like that, especially if you're coming from a program that isn't necessarily targeted towards game development. It's awesome to be around people that have the same goals as you. The best games come from the teams that like each other the most and actually enjoy working together. So I learned that it's really important to not only communicate well, but actually put effort into being friendly with your team. They're not just people you're working on something with, they're gonna be around you for like 10 hours a day for 6 months or whatever, or however long your development cycle is. So it's super important to at least be friendly. When we weren't working, a lot of us played Overwatch together. We would go out every once in a while. We would go to a bar or a club or whatever, so that was fun. Sometimes we would just throw parties or whatever at people's houses. Like we had a girl who came from Europe and she was feeling homesick, so we just threw like a party with all this stuff from her country to like kind of cheer her up. So you develop pretty good relationships with people, and it's fun to do stuff outside of work with them. So. Even if you come from a development background or programming or art or whatever, like if you have professional experience in a development-related field, come in with the mindset that you don't know anything. Working with someone that acts like they know everything when they're in the same program you are is really difficult because it just stresses people out. So I think that alienating your peers is probably the worst thing that you could do. So definitely don't do that. Like I anticipated to have to learn more time management skills, but I didn't anticipate having to learn to manage other people's time. Because as a producer and I was a lead designer on my capstone team, so I was in charge of people's work life cycle. So it was interesting having to learn how to manage other people's time when I'm still learning how to manage my own time. I think FIEA's made me a much more outgoing person than I ever was before. I had a lot of like personal journey during FIEA. I think that if I hadn't gone to FIEA, I wouldn't be nearly as like hopeful about not only my career path, but like myself as a person. I just think that FIEA it's one of those really hard things that once you're done with it, you're very thankful that you had the opportunity to do it. It's hard because FIEA for me wasn't really like individual moments. It was like a building upon kind of thing. So like a lot of the FIEA experience for me wasn't necessarily, like I'm not gonna remember like a specific moment, but I think that it was just like the personal growth that was happening. It's when you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you don't notice a difference, but then you go talk to somebody and they say, oh, you've grown a foot in the past like 6 months, or something like that. It's hard to pick one moment out when you're growing every day. FIEA is one of the hardest things that you'll ever do, but after you're done with it, you couldn't imagine not having done it. FIEA definitely prepared me really well for my internship. Because I was working at a smaller company, they weren't necessarily, there wasn't necessarily an internship program in place where I'm going to be funneled into some curriculum and they're going to teach me X, Y, Z or whatever. It was kind of more of a like build your own internship kind of thing, which is really what FIEA was, because you can get whatever you want out of FIEA. You're going to get what you put in, and that was definitely the same for my internship. I did a lot of stuff that I wasn't anticipating working on professionally at all, and I think that it was super great to have such a broad experience. I think that advice for prospective students, even if you end up not going to FIEA or pursuing some other career path, I think this is just good advice in general. The people that you go to school with or that you're working with right now are going to be the people that help you get the next position. So, of course, they're your friends and they're your colleagues, but you also need to treat them with respect and not, not just make yourself somebody that is hard to work with. I think that, I think I said it before, but definitely one of the most important things FIEA taught me was to be personable and to work with other people, and that's not only because it forms a good team environment, it's because it'll help you in the future too. Unmotivated, multitasker, and hopeful.